with what was really largely a 1 to 2 possession game for the most part?
Yeah, usually I'm pretty good at this. I'm a little lost for words. They're great. You know, unfortunately, I've been on the winning end of a few of these and the losing end of a few of these, and the simple answer is some nights you get beat. And I thought they were great, and they pose a tremendously difficult matchup for us. We're better when the best player is a perimeter guy, and Laritz causes us all sorts of problems. I am not somebody who likes to change the way we defend, and you have to with him, because otherwise he's just going to score one-on-one. So we made adjustments. I never liked doing that, and we did some tonight, and it was somewhat effective. But I thought, you know, he just dictates what we have to do so much defensively. And then they made some really tough shots. And then I thought, you know, when we cut it to 3 there, we had a couple possessions, blocked a shot, they missed one, and we did not come up with the basketball. Not suggesting we would have won had we come up with it, but boy, I would have liked to have found out. And let me say this: I'm now rooting. I'm waving the CCIW flag pretty high and pretty hard. I would love to be sitting through a walkthrough and a couple practices in a week with Elmhurst and Illinois Wesleyan playing each other in a Final Four. That would be a pretty cool thing for our league.
Nami, I'd like to ask you just a little bit about the comfort level, familiarity between the two teams. You've been playing these guys the last several years, kind of the same personnel. What was that like coming into today's game, as comfortable as both teams were with each other?
Yeah, I mean, we've, like you said, we played them for the last 3-4 years. I mean, they know our tendencies really well. We know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. And it just makes it tough on both ends because, I mean, the guys guarding me, Cade, Tyson, they know what we want to do. They train to stop it, and they make adjustments. We do the same for them. So I think it just really just comes down to who just plays harder, plays better. And tonight they won.
Mike, can you talk a little bit about Nick Chavello? You know, he goes 4 of 6 from 3 and scores 14 huge points, especially in the first 5 minutes of the game. Talk about his performance today.
Yeah, he's got a chance to be a really good player. And there were times during the year he was really tentative because he's playing with such great players, such established players, and really got on him a couple of weeks ago and just said that young man's got to go away. You're a rising star in one of the best leagues in the country. You're a starter on one of the 10 or 15 best teams in America. Act like it. And I think that, it was encouraging to sort of see him embrace that. Because listen, the way teams play us, they're going to put people in the lane to keep Nami and Tyson and those away from the lane. It means some of those guys are going to be open. So I was excited to see that. I was encouraged by that. And in a lot of ways, we got the games we needed from our quote-unquote role player guys. They knocked down shots to give us a chance. Let me say this, because I don't know if anybody will ask it. I told him this standing in the hallway. I've been very fortunate to coach a lot of really good players. He's a Jostens finalist. Two of the teams that have had the most Jostens finalists just played each other, and Matt's one as well. He is the ideal star. He is somehow able to be the best player and yet doesn't other himself from the team. He's one of the guys while simultaneously not being one of the guys. It's really hard to do that. He's just a special person. He's a great player. You all see that. I wish you could be around him all the time. You just aren't a lot of guys like him in the way he carries himself and led our team for the last couple of years.
Nami, I'd like to ask you about the decision to return this season. You had a tough decision to make, and do you come back? Do you not come back? Talk about what this season was like and having made that decision to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great decision. Being able to come back and just share a whole another season with, my closest friends, my brothers, my teammates, really just meant a lot. It wasn't really a hard decision at all. I mean, I was bought in from last season. I think all of us were, everyone who came back. And we committed to just doing something special. Obviously, we wanted to go further. It happens. But I think the decision that we made to come back was worth it. Yeah.
To follow up on that, Coach Schauer, I don't know what kind of role you may have played, or what was your thought to have all of these guys, a number of the guys, decide to give it one more shot after a shortened season last year?
Yeah, so we were at a little bit of an advantage, if I'm honest. I knew in September we weren't going to have a tournament because of my role on the committee. I was in those conversations. So while it was not official, I knew we were going to have a tough time having enough teams play, enough teams willing to host, enough teams willing to travel, that eventually the bottom was going to kind of fall out. So I was in September, October talking to our team about, hey, whatever we do this year, it's not going to feel the same. And to be honest with you, what we did last year actually was way more than I anticipated our league was going to be able to do. It actually ended up being. So I sort of got that thought rolling in their minds probably earlier than some to go, hey, whatever we do this year isn't going to feel like a season. And I do think we have a chance to be pretty special if we can stay together. But I also told them, there are times you need to make selfish decisions, and this is one of them. If you can't come back, don't want to come back, I totally understand. I'll never pressure you to come back. But I think Ye is right. I think they knew pretty quickly they were going to come back, and so I deeply respect it. And two things, if I'm honest. One, I felt a little pressure to make sure it was worth it for them in terms of wins and losses and the experience. And then two, to be honest, it was a very different coaching experience because I'm coaching 22, 23, 24-year-olds who are not in a traditional student situation because the NCAA changed created a bylaw that you could not need to be full-time this year. So that was a unique experience to have guys doing it a little bit differently. So I was thankful they did it. And it was so easy for me. This is the least amount I've ever coached because they sort of police themselves. If you came to practices, I was usually standing at half court because he goes hard every day. I never had to get on anybody about competing. He did it every single day, and if he's going to do it, so is everybody else.
And Nami, to go back to the game tonight, if you could talk about your approach when early in the game, the big three scorers, there was a lot of emphasis on getting the ball out of their hands. Your teammates stepped up, but how was your approach when it's clear they're keying on you maybe more than even they typically do?
I think just trusting my teammates. In the first half, Colin, Nick and Luke just were huge. But also at the same time staying aggressive, not being completely passive because that's what they want. So I think just finding that balance between me being aggressive and at the same time being very unselfish and trusting them was the biggest focal point for me.
Hey Nami, just one final question on my end. Today you were named a Jostens finalist. It's the most prestigious award in Division III basketball. It has to do with a combination of academics, athletics, and community service. You were named as, I believe it's one of 10 or 12 finalists. What does that mean to you?
Very thankful for it. Thank God for it. And honestly, we work pretty hard. I work pretty hard. So I'm just very grateful. Obviously, I wanted to, win everything, and not really worry about that. But I think now looking at it, it's pretty cool.